Fake news.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. This is our conclusion of a story we started a year ago called We Are the Console Room Radio Players. This is a conclusion of a story we started almost a year ago called the Dalek Masterplan. The mission and vision behind Console Room Players was basically the pandemic happened, we had nothing to do. So I'm a fan of Doctor Who missing episodes, and I said, you know what? Why don't we put on some radio plays? So that's what we did. And if you want to listen to more of our radio plays, they are on the Console Room YouTube site. I want to just do something really quick, starting from the end. Just introduce who you are and your character name.
Hi, my name is Renee Peterson, and usually I'm the stage manager. And this afternoon, I am going to be playing the ever-enchanting Dalek Guard and Salation, who is an alien who is not used to speaking in the way that humans do. Thank you.
I am Meg Bjarkman, and I am playing the Doctor.
I'm Matt Bjorkman, and I am playing the wicked and treacherous Mavic Chen.
I'm John Sloan, and I will be your narrator and also voice of some of the background characters, including Dalek number 2.
I'm Sean Cassidy, and I will be playing also a random Dalek, and what is my character's name? Kefren and Centrial.
I'm Jennifer Jo Peck, and I play the Red Doctor. And
You mean Red Dalek, don't you?
Yeah.
I meant the Red Dalek,
She's amazing. She's amazing. So.
and a alien called Bemus, or Bemus.
Either way. My name is Ben Ellis. I am the director of this show, and I play Steven.
My name is Paul Kunis, and I will be playing the Egyptian, what's my character again? Tutmos and the rock person Malfa.
Hi, I'm Jo Ackerman, and I am playing Sarah Kingdom, one of the Doctor's companions for this adventure, as well as a communications Dalek.
My name is Joseph Erickson. I'll be playing the meddling monk and the always efficient administrator Dalek.
My name's Carly Schumacher. I'm playing Black Dalek, who I believe is the Dalek commander, patrol leader Dalek, and Urin.
All right, John, let me count you in, and we'll begin. 3, 2, go.
The Doctor, a strange and fantastic being who travels the galaxy righting wrongs and helping those in need with the aid of the TARDIS. An impossible machine that can not only travel anywhere in the universe, but can go to the past or future on the Doctor's whim. Joining the Doctor is Steven, a rough and ready space pilot, and Sarah Kingdom, a security officer from Earth, year 4000. Together they face adventure, danger, and astounding realities that would shatter most human minds. This is Doctor Who. Today's episode, The Dalek Masterplan Part 4, written by Terry Nation and Dennis Spooner, adapted by Jo Ackerman, directed by Ben Ellis. When we last left the Doctor and her companions, the TARDIS had been followed into the deserts of ancient Egypt, but not only one, but 2 other time machines. Near to where they've materialized, the Egyptians are preparing the pyramid tomb of their pharaoh for his trip to the afterlife. The workers have mistaken the Doctor's TARDIS as one of the pharaoh's treasures and have dragged it from the sands of the desert into the pyramid.
Doctor! Doctor! No doctor.
They both rush over and start hammering on the TARDIS doors.
No doctor, Sarah.
Perhaps she's inside the TARDIS.
Doctor! Doctor!
They both rush over and start hammering on the TARDIS doors.
Doctor! Doctor!
Sarah has turned back on the TARDIS and notices something.
Stephen, look!
As Stephen looks and he sees a bandaged hand has opened the lid of the coffin and is moving about to fully open the lid. They watch as a nearly fully bandaged person rises from the coffin. He spots Sarah and Stephen and tries to talk, but the bandages muffle his voice.
He's trying to say something.
Sarah and Stephen move over to the mummy and start to unravel the bandages to reveal the face of the monk, who has been in one of the other time machines following their TARDIS.
Well, thank goodness for that.
The other time machine following the TARDIS was occupied by none other than the Daleks.
The plan has failed.
We can't be certain. Although the time-traveling monk has not yet contacted us, we don't know what difficulties he may have encountered.
The Earth hour permitted for his retrieval of the terrarium core has expired.
In the present situation, we can't afford to measure time exactly.
The time traveler has deceived us.
I don't think so. He dare not. Will the Daleks never learn that all things do not work to a pattern? Flexibility can also lead to conquest.
Silence. All Daleks will disembark. All forms of life will be treated as hostile.
We obey! Oops.
You, Mavik-chan, will come with us.
But recovery of the terranium core was made my responsibility.
Dalek orders will not be questioned.
If you insist on this approach, I fail to see how I will be able to answer for the consequences.
While gesturing in frustration, Mavik-chan hits the Red Dalek's eyepiece, causing it to be disoriented for a brief moment. Then Chen and the Daleks leave their time ship. Back at the tomb, the monk has been freed from his bandages and is telling Stephen and Sarah what he's been up to.
So it was the doctor who did this.
Yes, unbelievable, isn't it? Absolutely unbelievable. I admit that I succumbed to temptation.
What did the doctor say?
Well, she didn't say anything, really. There I was, trying to warn her of the Daleks, and suddenly there I am in the sarcophagus.
Well, I'm sure she will apologize when she hears your story.
Well, I'm not one to bear a grudge. We all know what the doctor's like. No, I think this is just one of those things.
Where'd she go?
I'm afraid I don't know. Unfortunately, immediately after this brutal attack, the next thing I remember is...
She probably went looking for us.
Well then, what do we do? Go out again and take a chance on missing her? Or just stay here?
If she meets the Daleks, she will need our help.
Stay here, definitely.
The monk continues speaking, not realizing that Stephen and Sarah aren't listening to him.
I have got a terrible headache.
Well, what happens if we meet the Daleks out there?
We'll just have to take that chance.
No doubt the doctor has some drug or other.
All right, but I won't even pretend I like this idea.
Well, if you give me the key to the TARDIS, I can go and get something out.
Sarah gestures towards a monk with no acknowledgement of anything he's been saying.
What about him?
He can come with us. That way we can keep an eye on him.
Come on then, you.
Oh, dear.
As Sarah and Stephen start to leave the tomb, Stephen realizes that the monk isn't following them.
What are you waiting for?
Well, are you going to let me into the TARDIS or not?
I couldn't even if I wanted to. The doctor's the only one with a key.
Oh.
It's obviously the monk that was trying to use his headache as a reason to gain access into the TARDIS to search for the terranium core. Realizing his ruse has failed, his face falls, which Stephen misunderstands as worry for the doctor.
Don't worry, we'll find her.
That's what I'm worried about.
Outside the pyramid, we hear Stephen calling for the doctor. Mavik-chan and the Daleks can also hear Stephen's shouts.
Doctor, where are you?
Doctor! Doctor! There, you see? You're wasting your time.
Doctor! Where are you? Oh, it's hopeless.
I know it is, but what else can we do?
While Stephen and Sarah are conversing with each other, the monk takes the opportunity to slip away around a corner, but runs straight into two Daleks.
Ah, there you are. I've been looking for you.
Why have you not reported your progress to us?
As Sarah turns, she sees the monk being forced back around the corner by the Daleks.
Humans, move!
With no other choice, Sarah and Stephen cross the corner to join the monk.
Prepare to exterminate them.
Exterminate when I fulfilled our part of the bargain?
Hearing these words, Mavic Chen rushes forward to seize the monk.
Give me the terranium core!
I haven't actually got the terranium core, but I brought you hostages.
Hostages?
Hostages? Yes, that could work. The doctor's loyalty to her friends is beyond question.
No more discussion.
In exchange for their lives, the doctor will hand us the core of the Time Destructor.
Is this true?
Stephen says nothing and stares ahead defiantly.
Their silence confirms they know this is true.
Take them back to the time machine.
I obey!
The Dalek prods Stephen and Sarah, who move off reluctantly. The monk stays behind.
Well, now that little problem's settled. I'd better be
You will return with us.
returning with you. That's what I was going to say.
With even more reluctance than Stephen and Sarah, the monk moves off with Mavic Chen and the Red Dalek. It's time for us to check in with the Egyptians, who are in charge of transferring the treasures to their pharaoh's tomb. They had briefly captured Stephen and Sarah as trespassers and possible thieves, but then had most of their workforce decimated by the Daleks.
Master, prisoners escaped.
Escaped? We left the tomb unsealed.
We must take the men and go after.
No, the war machines will destroy us all. Hyksos said he would return when the sun is above us. We do not have long to wait.
As we look up in the sky, the sun is approaching midday. The glare from the sun bounces off the Daleks, and they move into their time ship. Sarah, Stephen, and the monk are bundled into a corner guarded by a single Dalek. The Red Dalek and some other Daleks are over by the control area of the time ship, while Mavic Chen is standing near them, but far away to do his own plotting and planning.
The voice audio has been adjusted.
What is its present range?
7 Earth miles.
Mavic Chen can issue the ultimatum. Bring Chen to the voice auto.
I obey!
While the Dalek is guarding them moves off to obey the order, the monk tries talking to Stephen and Sarah.
Well, now, there seems to be some activity going on.
Stephen and Sarah stare at him coldly.
What's the matter? Was it something I said?
Don't you think you've done enough?
Yes, I suppose say that's saving your life.
What?
Well, we're all here, aren't we? Yes, it was very quick thinking on my part. Very quick.
I don't believe it.
Just a minute. You don't actually think I meant what I said to the Daleks? My dear fellow, it was a desperate gamble, risking my own life to save yours.
We can trust him as much as we can trust the Daleks.
You mean my performance was that good? I knew I had to fool the Daleks, but I thought you would see right through it.
He could be telling the truth, Stephen.
Only could be? You don't think I would take the side of those creatures against you, do you? You do. This baffles me. It destroys my faith in human nature.
Well, you can have your faith destroyed.
Speak the ultimatum into the voice audio.
Mavic Chen moves over to the microphone.
Doctor! Doctor, you should be able to hear me wherever you are.
Mavic Chen stops to check if the machine is working.
Continue. The voice audio is functioning.
Some sort of loudspeaker system.
Maybe it'd be better if the doctor couldn't hear it.
Doctor, listen carefully to what I have to say. It is useless to try to fight us anymore. Your 2 young friends are held prisoner by the Daleks. You know why we have pursued you through time and space. We want the terranium that you stole. You are to proceed to the Dalek time machine, south of the Great Pyramid, and receive your instructions. The vital core will be returned to us. Failure will mean the death of your friends.
Out in the desert, Tutmos and Kefren are amazed to hear a large voice speaking all about them.
Master, it is the voice of the gods.
No, Tutmos. the gods would speak words we could understand.
But who else but the gods could speak in a voice like thunder?
The same mortals who would build war machines that throw fire. When Hyksos returns, you will see the end of your gods.
Elsewhere in the desert, the doctor's walking about, wearing her hat and using her walking stick. Her face is grim as she listens to Mavic Chen's message. Mavic Chen then turns to speak to the prisoners before walking away.
For your sake, I hope that the doctor does not keep us waiting long.
We might try to warn the doctor.
Warn her? Whatever for?
If one of us could get to that microphone.
No, Sarah, it wouldn't stop her coming here. In fact, it'd probably make her more determined.
Suddenly, they all hear the doctor's voice outside. The Daleks and Mavic Chen make their way down the exit ramp of the time ship.
Where are they?
Now come, Doctor.
Where are they?
It seems that the doctor requires proof of what we say.
Put the prisoners in view.
The Daleks move Sarah, Stephen, and the monk to the doorway within view of the doctor.
We want the Terranium core back, Doctor, and there is nothing you can do to stop us now.
Very well. I will hand over the Terranium core.
Oh, very wise.
But on my terms.
You are in no position to make demands, Doctor. A Dalek escort will accompany.
No escort! And on my terms.
We could exterminate you now.
Yes, indeed. Indeed you could. But then you'd never get back the Terranium core, Would you?
What are your terms, Doctor?
You will release your prisoners. I also include that monk fellow, too, although I don't know why I should bother with him. Bring all three to the place of rendezvous and hand them over at the same time.
Why can't you come here?
You should know the answer to that as well as I do. None of you can be trusted. You, Mavic Chen, and one Dalek, by the west angle of the Great Pyramid.
We accept. Take prisoners back inside.
I should go now, Doctor, if I were you, before the Daleks change their minds.
The doctor returns this with her most withering glance and then marches off, harumphing.
I'm surprised you met her terms so readily.
One Dalek is capable of exterminating all.
The sun is now at the highest point in the sky, and Hyksos has returned from a neighboring camp with some men to replace the ones the Daleks killed during their first encounter.
Kefrin.
Have you enough men?
Yes, they are already moving into position and waiting for my command. Have the war machines been seen?
No, but we have heard them speak in a mighty roar.
My men will destroy them. Come.
It is time for the meeting.
Mavic Chen nods and indicates to the prisoners they should follow him.
You heard what the Daleks said.
As they begin to move, Stephen grabs the monk's arm.
If you try any more of your funny business, I'll exterminate you myself.
Funny business? Me?
Hyksos had a man watching the time ship who signaled the Daleks are moving. Hyksos gives some last-minute advice to his troops.
Be on your guard. The war machines will kill and destroy without warning. Follow me.
Arriving at the west angle of the pyramids, the Daleks, Mavic Chen, and the prisoners wait at the meeting point.
Halt! This is the location. Mavic Chen, you will receive the terrarium.
Yes, of course.
There will be no movement from the prisoners until the handover is completed.
The doctor's voice comes to them from out of view.
Stay where you are. You will meet when I tell you.
The doctor then moves into their view.
Mavic Chen, walk towards me.
Mavic Chen starts to move forward towards the doctor, but then she sees the red Dalek trying to follow.
Dalek, halt!
The red Dalek stops.
Mavic Chen, you have disregarded my conditions. I said one Dalek.
But I am not their master.
Before we go any further, you will now release your hostages. Then, and only then, will I hand you the Terranium core.
Don't trust him, Doctor.
Prisoners, you are released.
Away, all of you!
The prisoners dash off towards the stones.
Mavic Chen, Join me at the back here.
Mavic Chen moves forward and meets the doctor.
I am now about to hand over the Terranium core to Mavic Chen. Follow me.
Mavic Chen moves forward for a moment towards the doctor, but turns as the doctor is halfway through handing over the core. At that moment, Hyksos yells to his troops,
Attack! Attack!
Using the opportunity, Mavic Chen tugs hard at the core, pulling it from the doctor's grasp. He dives for cover.
Attack formation! Attack formation!
The Egyptian soldiers turn and attack the Daleks, most of them getting killed by the Dalek guns. The Red Dalek manages to kill a guard, but then becomes trapped as some of the remaining soldiers start to build stones about it, blocking it in place.
Assistance required! Assistance required!
Meanwhile, the monk is separated from Stephen and Sarah and dashes off, while Stephen dives in to grab the doctor, pulling her and Sarah towards the tomb.
You did it, Doctor. We got away.
I'm afraid not, young man.
Why not, Doctor? What went wrong?
I had to hand the real Terranium core over to Mavic Chen. I know I should have tried to get it back, but it would have been hopeless. There's so much chaos going on, and now it's too late.
That means the Daleks have won. There's nothing to stop them now.
Except this.
The doctor holds up the circuit she stole from the monk's TARDIS.
What's that?
That is a directional unit from the monk's TARDIS.
Just directional. Let me get back to Kemble.
Perhaps.
But that's marvelous, Doctor.
Yes, I suppose it is. But that isn't all.
No, I'm sure it isn't, Doctor, but this is hardly the time or the place to tell us about it. I mean, the Daleks will be here soon.
I think not, dear boy. I had to take precautionary measures in case my plan didn't work. While I was collecting that unit, I changed the monk's TARDIS into a police telephone box.
So it looks like yours?
Yes, exactly like mine. Of course, the Daleks will be on our track, but I think, should my plan succeed, they would find the monk instead.
By the way, what happened to him? He was with us.
I don't care if he's in Timbuktu.
As the doctor turns and opens the TARDIS doors, all three of them enter the craft. Out in the desert, the monk has made it back to where he left his TARDIS.
Ha-ha! I got away from that Stephen and Sarah.
The monk continues laughing until he sees that the TARDIS is now in the form of a police telephone box. He moves around it, banging on it.
No, the doctor! She transformed my TARDIS!
There is one of the time travelers. Stop his escape.
As the Daleks come into view, the monk dashes inside his TARDIS.
Exterminate him! Exterminate him! All Daleks fire!
The Daleks fire too late, just as the monk's TARDIS dematerializes. As the TARDIS fades from view, Mavic Chen appears and moves towards the Dalek group.
They have escaped. We shall pursue them through eternity. The Terranium core must be recovered.
This patrol is obviously out of touch with events.
Explain.
All this hysteria is unnecessary. The operation is a complete success. I have the Terranium. Here it is.
Mavic Chen proudly shows the shiny cube to the Daleks.
You have done well. Patrol, return to the time machine. We leave for Kemble at once.
The party returns to the Dalek time ship with Mavic Chen still holding the core of the time destructor. The patrol leader Dalek is now in charge.
Course for Kemble has been computed.
Have all preparations for takeoff been made?
They have.
Prepare to dematerialize now.
As the scene changes, we see a snowstorm and a close view of an iceberg which wasn't there a moment ago. It is the monk's TARDIS. The door opens and he steps out, his mouth dropping open at the sight. He dashes back inside his craft and for a brief moment comes out again, very angry.
A planet of ice? I didn't set course for this. Unless... The doctor! Again! The doctor! She stole my directional unit. Now I'll have to wander through time and space as lost as she is. I will get you for this, Doctor. I will get you one day.
Inside the doctor's TARDIS, Sarah and Stephen are standing nearby while the doctor is busy wiring the monk's circuit into her own system.
Well, I hope that the Daleks don't catch the monk.
After all he's done.
Yes, even after all that.
Well, I shouldn't worry anymore, my dear boy. There's no doubt about it. He's well away by now.
Do you think he'll be coming for revenge again?
Perhaps, perhaps. Yes, one day. But at the moment, I should say he has had quite enough of us for a while. Having taken his directional unit, it is going to take him quite a time to make the necessary repairs to his ship.
What about our repairs? Will the unit work?
Well, I'm not certain. It's a Mark IV, remember? There are two possibilities. One, it would work.
Go on, Doc.
Number two, the increased energy rate will most certainly destroy the center column.
But we do have a chance.
Yes, my dear, a chance. A slim one. There we are, that's finished. It's a pity we haven't got a more reliable way of testing it.
Well, come on. I thought you said that it was finished.
Oh, yes, it is finished, my dear, but...
Oh, come on, Doctor. We haven't got time for buts. This is our only hope.
You realize, of course, we're taking a terrible chance.
Save your breath. We got to try it.
Very well, my boy. Pull the main switch.
Stephen reaches across and pulls a lever on the console. The usual sound of dematerialization is heard, but a second later, a massive explosion rocks the room and flings them all to the floor. The Daleks' time machine materializes with its odd humming and whistling noise. The doors open and the Daleks that have survived the trip move out of the machine along with Mavic Chen to be greeted by the Administrator Dalek. Mavic Chen is carrying the Terranium core.
The mission has been completed successfully. With guile and cunning, I have been able to repossess the Terranium.
Are you certain it is the real core?
Of course. I had it examined before we arrived here. It is ready to be fitted to the Time Destructor. I hope the Daleks will not suffer any more setbacks, which could upset the plans for our conquest of the universe.
The final conference of the remaining members of the Galactic Council await you.
I shall go and address them.
The task force has disembarked.
Excellent. Is the core fitted to the Time Destructor?
That is being done. Do we now deal with Mavic Chen?
No. His arrogance and greed have a further use for us. Alert the Council to attend their final conference.
Back in the TARDIS, the Doctor, Stephen, and Sarah pick themselves up from the floor but are still a bit shaken from the explosion.
Well, fortunately, there's no damage done to the control panel itself.
What about the directional unit?
Oh, that's useless, dear boy, useless. It's now a charred wreck.
What happened?
Well, the unit required a much higher energy rate than we process.
Then why did it burn out and not the TARDIS controls?
A built-in safety measure, my dear. You see, the excess energy may have forced itself back into the directional unit. That means that our plan to return to Kemble has failed.
That means the Daleks can invade the universe and conquer it?
Yes, and there's nothing we can do about it.
There must be something we can do, Doctor. You must think of some way.
Well, our only chance, my dear, is to try and capture the monk's time machine, or that of the Daleks.
Yes, well, let's get going.
Have patience, dear boy. It's highly probable that they've all left by now, and I should think that there's one or two Egyptians around. Let's go take a look at the scanner.
The Doctor touches the scanner switch and the screen flares into life. The picture it shows is of a jungle and not the tomb they were expecting.
But that's not ancient Egypt.
It's more like Kemble.
Yes, it does look vaguely familiar. It might be Kemble. Do you know that means the directional unit must have burned itself out after we materialized? I wonder if you'd bring that impulse compass.
Sure.
Stephen leaves the console room to go get the tool requested by the Doctor.
Well now, young lady, perhaps you'll have more faith in me in the future, I thought something would work out.
But it was you who said we'd failed.
Oh, nonsense.
Well, it wasn't me.
Of course it was.
Stephen comes back into the room and sees what's happening, so steps in before it becomes a fight.
Oh, come on, Doctor. You'll have to forgive her. After all, she hasn't known you very long.
Yes, well, perhaps. Anyway, now that we're here, we had better make a plan.
How far do you think we are from the Dalek City?
I've no idea. Although I think we might be able to make it on foot. Perhaps I better go out and take some bearings. Open the door, dear boy.
As Stephen opens the main doors, the doctor puts on her cloak and goes outside.
That woman, she
Good.
was as much in the dark as we were, and now she has the gall to,
Good. You're getting to know her quite well then.
before this is over.
Save it for the Daleks.
Much has changed since the Galactic Council first met to discuss her plans to conquer and divide the universe. The only members of the Council remaining are Giron, Malfa, Centrial, Beos, and Salation. They are all unhappy with the way they have been treated by the Daleks compared to the seemingly preferential treatment of Mavic Chen.
There has been too much time wasted through the folly of the representative from Earth. Surely it is only right that on his return he be removed from this council.
But without the Terranium, or without him, there would be no Terranium.
The Daleks have assured us they will recapture the core of the Time Destructor.
Then we do not need Mavic Chen?
Exactly. He no longer merits a place on this galactic council. I will call for a censure motion.
The council members bang on the table to show their agreement. None of them has noticed a black Dalek has entered the room.
Silence!
The council members, in shock, stop their banging.
The final conference is now in session. Mavic Chen, representative from the solar system, will address the meeting.
Mavic Chen marches into the room haughtily. The other members look at him with barely concealed distaste.
Fellow delegates, even as you sit here, the great war force assembled under the Daleks is awaiting the final order to set out and conquer the universe. The final checks are being made, and in a very short time, their final order will be given.
Why is Mavic Chen speaking for the Dalek Supreme?
Why is it Mavic Chen in possession of information denied to the rest of this council?
Mavic Chen ignores the outburst and continues his speech.
Although we are all equal partners with the Daleks on this great conquest, some of us are more equal than others.
The representative speaks out of turn.
No! My contribution of the M of Terranium is greater than all of your contributions put together. You have been dwarfed. Dwarfed!
This is met by total outrage from the other representatives. The table rocks with all the banging it's getting.
This violates the agreement by which this council has assembled.
Arrest him! Arrest him! Arrest him!
You are nothing! Do you hear me? Nothing!
Your ambition condemns you, Mavic Chen.
Death!
Death! Death!
Death.
Total uproar ensues until Mavic Chen draws out his blaster and fires at Beos. Beos screams and falls to the floor dead. This makes all the other delegates quiet down. No one notices a black Dalek leaving the room during this exchange.
Before this conference began, the Dalek Supreme and I spoke together. This council is now under my power. I will give the orders, and you will obey them.
With the delegates of the Galactic Council in total shock, we check in with Stephen and Sarah, who are moving slowly forward through the jungle, looking for the Dalek city, using the compass given to them by the Doctor. The jungle is filled with strange noises, and Stephen is ever watchful of the dangerous Varga plants. The Doctor is nowhere in sight.
You all right?
Yes, though this jungle is hardly the place I would choose for a gentle stroll.
Just be careful of the Vargas.
Vargas? I haven't seen any Varga plants.
They're all over the...
Stephen is now noticing there are no Varga plants in sight. Quite a change since his last visit, when the planet was populated with hundreds of them.
Come to think about it, neither have I. I thought the Daleks scattered
Stephen?
them all over.
Are you sure we're on Kemble?
Of course I am. The doctor was certain when she took these
Stephen then notices the doctor isn't with them.
Where could she have got to?
Anywhere you like out here in this jungle.
This is serious. Perhaps the Daleks have caught her.
If so, they'll be looking for us now, too. Look, Stephen, with or without the doctor, we've got to get to the Dalek City and put that place out of action.
Yes, but Sarah, what about the doctor? She can't just have vanished into thin air. We've got to find her.
No, not yet. Mavic Chen will have returned with the Terranium. That means the Daleks' plans will be ready to go ahead, and we've got to stop them.
I understand that, okay? But we can't just leave the doctor wandering around lost in the jungle.
If I know anything about her, she's already reached the city. If we go there, we can stop the Daleks and find the doctor.
All right.
Back in the Dalek City, the delegates are still arguing about Mavic Chen's speech.
We have all served the common cause, all of us.
Indeed we have. But I, Mavic Chen, was solely responsible for the recovery of the core of the Time Destructor. Because of this, I naturally precede anyone here. For without my power, the Daleks cannot succeed. You must appreciate the point.
While Mavic Chen is pointing to himself with arrogance, Malfa has noticed the Black Dalek is missing.
There remains this question. Where is our co-ruler, the Dalek Supreme?
Mavic Chen is visibly startled by all this as all the delegates look about the room to see the Black Dalek is no longer there.
It is clear that he knows that I can run the council without his aid. Now, fellow delegates, we come to the main discussion before this meeting, the dividing of the government of the universe after our conquest. All of you will be allowed to oversee your own galaxies, but all of you will be responsible to the Dalek Supreme and me.
Multiple Daleks enter the room, each with their guns pointed at one of the delegates, including Mavic Chen.
This meeting is over.
But it isn't.
There will be no more discussion. All representatives will come with us.
Back in the jungle, Stephen is again looking at the compass.
According to the doctor, the Dalek City is over that way. So far, so good. We're on the right track. The source of power is still 242.
Would you mind telling me how that thing works?
What, now?
Yes, now.
Look, Sarah, this is no time for a lesson on power impulse compasses.
Suppose something happens to you.
What are you talking about?
I'd have to go ahead and reach the city alone. Don't you think you ought to show me how that works instead of in case of an accident?
Oh, you're so cheerful, aren't you?
As Stephen and Sarah continue walking, they spy the landing pad where the council's representatives' starships are parked.
There it is, the takeoff area.
Yes. Are those the Dalek ships?
No, they belong to other representatives.
Where's the Dalek landing area?
There too, possibly. But those representative ships will have to take off first to collect their forces for the invasion.
Right. Let's get going.
Just a minute.
Why? We've got to defeat the Daleks.
Okay. We've got to try to defeat the Daleks. If you and I just charge in there, what chance do you think we've got against the greatest warforce ever assembled?
Oh, for heaven's sake, we'll go carefully. Look, Stephen, just because the doctor isn't here, don't think you're the only one that can outwit the Daleks.
Look, I don't think that. But as you said, we'll probably find she's here already.
Well, come on then.
Stephen and Sarah move forward slowly, carefully ready to jump for cover in case a Dalek makes an appearance. Luckily, there's no sign of them.
I don't get it. It's so uncanny. I mean, where have the Daleks got to?
It's like a city of the dead.
We should have been challenged by now.
We haven't come very far into the city yet.
What's that got to do with it?
They're probably making final preparations for the invasion.
Yes, well, they still need guards out there.
Oh, maybe they're not frightened.
They always take some precautions.
All right, you think of another explanation.
Well, look, suppose the doctor did come here and they have caught her.
Then now they'll be looking for us.
No, possibly not. Not if she said she was alone.
Huh, they wouldn't believe her.
Why not? We weren't anywhere around.
Stephen, this could all be a trick. If they have caught the doctor, then they could be waiting for us.
No, if they caught the doctor, they won't worry about us. We've got to find her.
Stephen and Sarah move into a Dalek control room. They're both surprised that it's completely empty. Not a Dalek in sight.
This place is empty, too.
Then it must be a trap.
Why do you say that?
Well, it looks like a control room. The Daleks wouldn't leave a place like this unguarded.
True. That means they must have the doctor if they can be sure of themselves.
Looking through another doorway from the control room, Stephen sees the Daleks' time machine.
Hey, isn't that their time machine?
Now we can get back to Earth and warn them.
Yes, except neither of us knows how to work it. We could try to bluff them.
How?
Well, we could lock ourselves inside their time machine until the doctor comes. She could work it.
Well, it's worth a try.
Sarah studies some of the controls in the time ship.
Now we've got to contact the Daleks. Here's the Dalek loudspeaker system.
Sarah speaks into the microphone on the control panel, the way she saw Mavic Chen do earlier.
This is Sarah Kingdom of Space Security. Send the doctor to the Dalek control room.
Hello, Kingdom. Where are you?
That's Chen.
He must be working with them. Mavic Chen. Never mind. He must still be working with them. Mavic Chen, can you hear me?
Elsewhere, we see a room filled with Daleks working under the direction of the Black Dalek. This control room is much larger than the city control room and seems to be the main headquarters of the invasion force.
The galactic representatives have been detained as you instructed.
They will be destroyed at the same time as the headquarters at the start of the conquest of the planet Earth. Commence invasion countdown.
The Daleks have moved the galactic representatives into a small cell where they are hearing the voices of Stephen and Sarah. None of the other representatives trust Mavic Chen at all after his speech in the council chamber.
Let us speak to the doctor.
Is this more treachery? Who are these people?
They are the people who stole the Terranium.
Then why have they come back?
I don't know. You must let me speak to them.
No. Already you have betrayed us. This could be another trick.
Mavic Chen, let me speak to the doctor.
Don't waste time. They'll be on their way to us by now.
Yes, but if they don't bring the doctor, the plan is useless.
Listen to me.
Who's there?
Through the treachery of Chen, we have been imprisoned.
Who are you?
We are the Galactic Council. Will you release us?
Where are you?
In a detention cell.
Yes, but where?
We do not know.
We've got to find them.
No, wait. This could all be part of the trick.
No, I don't think so. Look, if there were any Daleks around, they'd be here by now. They must have gone. Maybe the doctor's with the council. Come on.
Both Stephen and Sarah rush into the corridor to find the cell where the delegates of the Galactic Council are being held.
Mavic Chen, if this is a further trick on your part, we shall destroy you before they can destroy us.
It's not a trick.
Then why have they come back?
If you'd only think. Is there no sense in the outer galaxies? It is clear that they have lost their leader, the one they call the Doctor. The girl has brought the young man here to look for him. But really, She has come back out of loyalty to me to ensure my safety as guardian of the solar system. The efficiency of our security system is one of the main reasons for our natural supremacy.
What about the Daleks?
Once we are out of here, we can destroy the Daleks. Between us, we muster a greater force than them. We can form our own galactic council.
Listen.
After running down multiple corridors, Stephen and Sarah pull up outside the cell and open the shutters. Inside, the representatives look up at the new arrivals.
Kingdom, you've done well. Now, let us out of here.
Stephen pulls Sarah away from the door she was about to open and stands between her and it.
No.
What do you mean, no?
Where is the doctor?
If she is your leader, then she is not with us.
Where is she?
I don't know. Now let us out.
So you can rejoin the Daleks? Not likely.
Absurd. The Daleks have betrayed us.
Betrayed.
Why should we rejoin them?
If we let them out, there's a chance that some of them could mobilize a force to defeat the Daleks.
Of course we will.
You must. The Daleks must be destroyed, or all our galaxies are in danger.
We have no choice.
Very well.
Stephen turns to speak to the prisoners without allowing Sarah access to the door.
The Daleks have already left Kemble. It's probable their invasion plans are already going ahead, and the universe will be taken by surprise because of your greed.
Must you moralize?
Your only chance is to get back to your own people and warn them.
Our people will kill us.
Not if we save them. We must destroy the Daleks.
Destroy. We agree to go defend our galaxies and to organize a search for the Dalek invasion force.
Let them out, Stephen.
Yes, all right.
Stephen unlocks the door and all the prisoners exit. Sarah is glaring at Chen with a look of pure hatred as he exits the room.
You are a sensible woman, Kingdom. I will see that you are justly rewarded.
A few moments later, Sarah and Stephen have led the council members to the landing pad where their ships are parked. Stephen and Sarah watch as their ships power up and fly away.
There they go.
Chen's ship is still there. What about the others?
Chen must be waiting to be the last one to take off. The other ships must belong to the dead representatives.
A powering up hum can be heard. Then a small jet of flame shoots out at the afterburners of Chen's spar. The spar then explodes into millions of tiny pieces, and what's left of it collapses back on itself.
No!
Something's gone wrong.
He's had it.
Now he won't be able to get back to Earth and warn them.
Let's hope others can mobilize their armies fast enough. There must be something we can do.
Yes. Find the doctor.
Stephen and Sarah are moving forward through the jungle when a noise reaches them further down the path.
Shh, listen.
The doctor?
No.
They quickly duck off the path and hide behind one of the tree-like growths. After a moment, the vegetation parts and into the sight trundles a Dalek. It pauses for a moment like it may have detected them, then moves off down the path they have been taking.
They're still here.
We must follow it quickly.
They quietly follow the Dalek and watch it enter a cave at the entrance of the mountain.
It went down there, right into the heart of the mountain.
Underground. Why didn't we think of that before?
Sarah, it's possible the invasion hasn't started yet. Maybe the rest of the forces are down there.
Or at least part of them. There must be hundreds of places like this around here.
Yes, but that Dalek must know that the representatives got away.
They might even know that we're on Campbell.
With the representatives gone and the doctor disappeared, we're going to have to put them out of action ourselves.
Can we?
We've got to. Earth will still be invaded.
Certainly, thanks to you.
Stephen and Sarah are shocked to see Mavic Chen standing behind them, looking very alive and very smug, pointing at them with his blaster.
Chen, but you're dead.
Not yet. I'm delighted my pyrotechnic display impressed you. No, I am alive, and soon shall be master of this universe. Perhaps, Kingdom, you'd like to lead the way.
Mavic Chen uses his blaster to gesture at the tunnel the Dalek entered.
Down there.
Of course! I'm certain the Daleks will be delighted to see you.
Faced with no alternative, Stephen and Sarah make their way into the cave with Mavic Chen behind them. The cave leads to a metal corridor.
Don't you understand? By bringing us down here, you're doing exactly what the Daleks want.
Of course.
He's mad.
Take care, Kingdom. I could easily forego the pleasure of giving you to the Daleks and kill you myself.
Why did you come back? This couldn't have been planned. You couldn't have known we'd come back and set you free.
I'm not a fool. I guessed your plan.
Our only plan is to destroy the Daleks.
You were able to fool the others, but you can't fool me. Where's the old woman? The one you call the Doctor?
We were looking for her.
Yes, of course. And that's why you came here. Now do stop this masquerade. See, I know why she is trying to usurp my position with the Daleks.
That is absurd. The Doctors always fought the Daleks. Why don't you believe us? We don't know where she is.
Yet I find you at the entrance to the Daleks' secret headquarters. I know the Doctor's here and that she's trying to take my place, but I'll soon change that.
You don't understand, do you? The Daleks don't make allies.
Save your breath, Stephen. You'll never convince him. I tell you, he's mad.
The Daleks need me. And now, I'll be able to show them that the Doctor will betray them. Lead on.
As the trio of humans continue down the metal corridor into the mountain, many Daleks are running about in another control room, making final checks for their invasion under the watchful eye stalk of the Dalek Supreme. Near him is the Time Destructor with the Terranium core fitted into it.
Assault division of 5,000 Daleks awaits orders.
The Time Destructor will be placed in the lead ship.
Prisoners have been taken at entrance 5.
Prisoners?
Dalek Guard reports the group consists of Mavic Chen and 2 of the Time Travelers.
Have them brought here to main central control.
I obey.
A Dalek guard has met the humans in the corridor. Mavic Chen naturally assumes the guard is there to help him, not realizing the guard's weapon is covering him as well.
Your assistance, although welcome, is entirely unnecessary. I demand to take them to the Dalek Supreme alone.
Central control has been advised.
Well, advise them again. Until you realize these people are my prisoners, I shall refuse to hand them over.
I will verify my orders.
Good.
There is still no proof the Doctor is here.
Whatever else is thought about you, one cannot help but admire the way you both continue with your absurd bluff.
Representative Chen, new orders have been received. You are to escort the prisoners to the Dalek Supreme.
Excellent. After you.
As the humans move on, a guard stays behind at the junction with another tunnel. Soon they arrive at the door of the main Dalek control room.
The prisoners have arrived.
Bring them to me.
I obey.
The door opens and they enter. Both Sarah and Stephen look about with amazement at the size of the control room. Mavic Chen, with his usual way, marches into the room like he owns the place.
Once again, I, Mavic Chen, guardian of the solar system, have helped the Daleks with their conquest plan.
Our alliance has ended.
What? But I have helped you time and time again with your absurd incompetence. I, Mavic Chen, will decide when our alliance is at an end.
Mavic Chen moves to stand directly in front of the Black Dalek, whose eye stalk was facing in another direction.
You, Dalek Supreme, tell them they're to take their orders from me.
Not a noise is heard as all eyes, human and Dalek, turn towards Mavic Chen.
I assume this silence means the orders have been passed. Good. One of you bring me the invasion reports.
None of the Daleks move. All eyes remain on Mavic Chen.
It is essential that I know what stage the countdown has reached. Now move. Failure to obey the orders of your ruler brings only one reward.
Mavic Chen opens fire with his blaster at a Dalek he thought was going to bring him the reports. The beam bounces off the Dalek. With horror, he realizes he doesn't have the power to destroy them at all. He then tries throwing the gun at the Dalek, but it bounces off as well. The Daleks were aware that if one of them fired, the blast may have ricocheted to damage the Time Destructor, as well as the Dalek Supreme.
Take him away and exterminate him. Do not fire in here. You will damage us and some controls.
You cannot turn against me. I, Mavic Chen, first ruler of the universe, am immortal.
Still screaming and ranting, Chen turns and runs from the room.
Pursue and exterminate in safe area. Repeat, safe area.
While all the Daleks in the room are following Mavic Chen, the Doctor comes up and taps Stephen on the shoulder.
Doctor, how on earth?
Don't say anything. Just do what I tell you. Take this.
The Doctor passes something over to Stephen.
What? The key to the TARDIS?
Yes. Now, when I tell you, I want you to take Sarah back to the TARDIS. You still have that power impulse compass?
Yes.
Good. Follow bearing 627 to the TARDIS.
But what about you, Doctor?
Shh. There's no use in all of us taking risks. You must do what I say.
Yes, but how did you get here?
I followed a Dalek here, of course. Now let me get on with it. I'm going to activate the Time Destructor.
Out in one of the corridors, Mavic Chen has gotten himself hemmed in by Daleks with no route of escape.
You will pay for your crimes against your ruler. You cannot kill me.
The Daleks blast him, and the self-called ruler of the universe dies screaming. Back in the main control room, a ticking noise can be heard from the Time Destructor. The door opens to admit the returning Daleks, who see the Doctor with the Time Destructor.
Move back, all of you!
I'm afraid you're too late. The Time Destructor is activated.
Do not fire.
No, you cannot fire, can you? You dare not. And if you were to, yes, you could kill us. But you would totally destroy your equipment. I think it's a checkmate. Send one of your Daleks over here. Remember that the Time Destructor is working slowly, but if you disobey me, I can accelerate it.
Do as she says.
One of the other Daleks moves forward towards the Doctor with its gun stick lowered.
Turn about.
The Dalek turns around as the Doctor indicated.
You two get behind it.
Both Stephen and Sarah get behind the Dalek.
Stephen, take my stick and clamp it down on its gun. Move forward.
The Dalek moves forward with Stephen and Sarah hiding behind it. The Doctor follows them with the Time Destructor device. They exit the door of the control room into the corridor.
Now, both of you, back to the TARDIS.
What about you, Doctor?
Do as I say, quickly.
Stephen and Sarah begin running down the corridor towards the cave entrance when Sarah suddenly stops.
Wait, Stephen, we can't just leave her.
The Doctor knows what she's doing. At least I think she does.
All we're doing is running to save our own lives. If anything goes wrong and the Daleks recapture the Time Destructor, we'll have failed forever.
I know what you're saying. Now, I'd go back too, if I thought it would help. Whatever she's doing because she thinks it's the best way. Now, come on.
Stephen and Sarah start moving towards the cave entrance again. Back outside the control room door, the Doctor takes off her cloak, drops it on the floor, and pushes the Dalek back into the room. Then she closes the door and runs away as fast as possible, overhearing the Daleks from inside the room.
Pursue and capture. Pursue and recapture. Activate alarm. Activate alarm.
Door control jammed. Contact broken.
Correct fault immediately. Then pursue and recapture.
The door has been caught on the doctor's cloak, causing the fault of the mechanism. The Daleks are trying to open a door which its own sensor state is already open, so nothing happens. Satisfied, the doctor runs down the corridor when she runs into Sarah, without Stephen.
What are you doing here?
I came to help you.
You must remember, my child, this machine is working. It's working slowly because its range is rather small at the moment, but it is working. Now, if you start to feel strange, you must let me know at once.
Yes, all right. But what about them?
First, back to the TARDIS. Stephen not with you?
No, this is the way I came back.
Hurry, my child, hurry.
Out in the jungle, Stephen is moving towards the TARDIS when he notices Sarah isn't with him. The effect of the time destructor can be heard as a roaring wind. Sarah and the doctor have exited the cave and are now in another part of the jungle.
Hurry, Doctor.
My dear, are you beginning to feel strange,
Sarah begins to speak, but finds it difficult to say the words.
The wind. Listen. Can't you hear it? I've never heard that on Kimball before.
Yes, well, perhaps it's this time destructor, having an effect on the elements.
Then destroy it.
No, that's impossible, my dear. There's one thing I do know about this machine. It will continue until the terranium has finally burnt itself out. Our only chance is to get back to the TARDIS so I can neutralize it.
Let's hurry.
The Daleks finally figure out what's causing the fault in their door.
Secondary door circuit completed.
Operate.
The door opens and the Dalek pushes the cloak aside.
Obstacle cleared.
Pursue and exterminate.
The Daleks all race out of the room. Back in the jungle, the Doctor and Sarah are still running. The effects of the time destructor, however, are causing the Doctor to run more slowly, and Sarah's hair grows white with age. The wind has stepped up to gale force levels.
It's not far now, Sarah.
Keep going. The Daleks must be after us by now.
The Daleks have reached the outside and are starting to chase across the jungle. Everywhere around them, the jungle is falling under the effects of the time destructor as each plant and tree wither and die of old age. The Doctor and Sarah are almost walking now, having both aged horribly. Sarah is now an old woman who is just barely able to run, and the Doctor looks much older than her already advanced years. Somehow, the Daleks are still gliding forward at a set speed, moving through the jungle at a faster rate than the Doctor and Sarah can now manage. The wind is now hurricane force. The TARDIS is parked just a few feet away now, but both the Doctor and Sarah are just barely able to walk. For Sarah, it is too far, and she's getting too old to move anymore, much less walk the few remaining steps to the TARDIS. The Doctor, too, for all her years, is moving too slowly. The time destructor has aged her so terribly she can barely move at all.
Doctor.
From inside the TARDIS control room, Stephen is overjoyed to see Sarah and the Doctor on the monitor, but then notices the effects of the time destructor has wreaked upon them. Seeing they need help, he opens the TARDIS doors.
Doctor! Sarah!
The Doctor has a few feet to go when she collapses. The time destructor still pulsing away. Sarah, now too old to even stand, collapses on the jungle floor. She tries to move forward one final time, but collapses and dies of old age. Within a few seconds, she becomes a skeleton, and a few seconds later, she's gone.
Dust. It's all crumbling into dust. Sarah!
Stephen steps outside the TARDIS door, and the effect immediately starts on him as he fights his way forward against the wind until he reaches the Doctor. By the time he gets to the Doctor, his own hair has grown gray.
Come on, Doctor.
Don't touch me.
I must help you.
Get back to the ship.
Crying with the effects of his efforts, Stephen tries some of the controls on the time destructor and causes it to stop beeping. While it seems to be doing something, Stephen rushes over and grabs the Doctor. Both of them struggle to get into the TARDIS, leaving the time destructor behind. When the Doctor and Stephen get inside the TARDIS, the effect of the time destructor quickly wears off and they return to their old self. Stephen closes the door.
Oh, thank you, Stephen. By chance, you managed to reverse the time destructor. Instead of time rushing forward, it's now racing back. You realize Sarah came to look for me if I were all right.
I was forcing my way through the jungle. I didn't even notice her leave me and go back to the cave.
The Doctor and Stephen see the Daleks arriving in the clearing on the TARDIS scanner. The Time Destructor is still out there working and beeping. The Daleks see this and try firing at them. Their blasts have no effect on it. Then they lose control and crash into each other, starting to come apart. For just a second, the creatures inside are shown, but these also start to change as time runs backwards. At the end, they start to become something humanoid. They too are gone. The Time Destructor is beeping alone as the jungle plants that are dying are now regressing back into seeds. A few moments after that, the jungle is gone and there's nothing but dust everywhere. The only thing remaining on the planet is the TARDIS and what's left of the Time Destructor. Stephen and the Doctor step onto the desolate planet.
Oh, dust. Nothing but dust.
Stephen finds the remain of the Time Destructor and picks it up.
The Time Destructor, what's left of it?
Mavic Chen's terranium core has finally burnt itself out.
I wish Sarah could have seen the end.
Yes, my boy, so do I. You know, Stephen, the one thing that Sarah lived for was to see the total destruction of the Daleks. Well, now it's all over. Without her help, this could never have been achieved.
What is it?
The Doctor points to a burn on the ground where one of the Daleks sat.
Millions of years of progress reversed back. And that's all that remains of a Dalek.
Let's go, Doctor. I've seen enough of this place.
Well, my boy, we finally rid this planet of Daleks.
Stephen is visibly upset the Doctor is celebrating their victory.
What about Brett? What about Katarina? What about Sarah?
The Doctor ponders a moment while Stephen goes back on board the TARDIS.
Yes, what a waste. What a terrible waste.
Without another word, she turns and boards the TARDIS. With its usual sound, the TARDIS leaves Kemble. Thank you for joining us on this journey with the First Doctor. The console room radio players will return this spring with their newest adventure, The Ambassadors of Death. Please subscribe to the Console Room YouTube channel and for other Doctor Who content like this, and to like and comment on our other performances.
Thank you all.